was back from his trip to Nashville.
I could not wait to get back here with you.
Yeah, I'm sure
you know.
you did.
And I saw the memo. I wore the sweater today.
Well, it's 7 degrees outside. Why would
It's a
we
little
not?
chilly. A little chilly.
A little chilly.
chilly,
This is
yeah.
a little chilly. Well, you're from BYU at times.
Well, I actually grew up in Maryland, so right now they're getting dumped on. But you know, when you move here and you lived here for going on 6 years, you kind of get soft. So this cold weather is not what I signed up for.
No.
I was out wrapping trees and all that kind of stuff yesterday, and oh yeah, it's like, what in the world are we doing?
You don't have somebody. You don't pay somebody to wrap your
No,
tree?
no. I do my own yard.
Please,
Yeah.
I don't buy that for a minute.
okay.
I don't buy that for a minute. So I want to ask you about this trip because you're in an interesting spot to me. You go to an NCAA convention type thing.
Yep.
You're making decisions. You're doing it on a smaller school level. There's a lot of pressure from bigger schools. A lot of politicizing in the room, I would imagine.
A lot.
So what do you get out of it, and what do you want to see when you do it? Because you're fighting for the little guy.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's fascinating and it's a very humbling experience. You know, the whole trip there. You know, I printed out you know, all the legislation that we're going to review and we need to have opinion on. And literally, I felt like I was back in college again. And but it's a hard start at 8 a.m. and you're in there until 3 o'clock. You're talking about any piece of legislation that's coming up. You go into smaller groups and talk about the pros and cons. And you know, when you change a rule, you know, it's a lot. And but it is fascinating, but it's very interesting to me. Everyone sees it from their own perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Like when you're in the SEC, you see a rule from the SEC's perspective, and when you're in the Southland or one bid leagues, if you will, or FCS, you see it completely different. But it is nice to have a seat at the table. It's nice to be able to voice the opinions, I think, of a lot of our constituents. So it's an amazing process. It's one that is very, very humbling. It's a lot more work than I thought, but it's something I've really come to enjoy. And the conversations that you have at dinner, on the breaks, you know, getting a cup of coffee, you can only imagine the conversations that happen around those things, which it really is fascinating. And you really don't realize how political the House settlement is with the federal government.
Oh yeah.
You know, and the senators, like Senator Cruz is pushing for the legislation, and who's on that committee, trying to get Democrats to 4 or 5 Democrats to come over because you can't get the bill passed. Like it's very, very fascinating.
Well, this is an interesting state too because you have one power school. Mm-hmm. You have several FCS schools,
right,
and several mid-majors. You have
right.
You have the gamut in this state financially.
Yes.
You got rich, you've got poor, you've got, I mean, it's all over the place.
It is.
How does that represent in that room of just the Louisianas?
Oh, it's a lot. I mean, it is. Our state is unlike a lot of others, in the sense that we have so many schools.
Yeah.
You know, with our population, we have so many Division I schools. But you know, at the same time, you know, the nice thing is, like I said earlier, is that you do have a seat at the table. There's some serious legislation that we are talking about. The 5 for 5 is legislation that we talked a lot about.
Yeah.
In the Men's Basketball Oversight Committee, we changed a rule where your exhibitions can now be in front of people against Division I schools, which again I think is really
well. Now, here's the thing: is that we've seen that the last couple of years on TV when they would market them as charity games.
Correct.
So basically, everybody has 2 charity games now.
Well, they're not. They don't have to be called.
But they don't
charity.
have to be that
right.
now.
So you don't have to give the money to a charity. You can keep the revenue, which I was a huge proponent in it because of it. Because think about it from our perspective.
Yeah.
Like, you know, are we ever going to get LSU to come here and play a regular season game? Probably not. Could we get them to come for an exhibition game? Maybe. Could we get an SEC team to come for an exhibition game? Maybe. No matter what it is.
Well, it'd be great marketing for LSU. They get here, it's going to be played in front of a packed house.
Absolutely.
They get to be in the area, and it doesn't count against them when you beat them.
That's right. Well, and but also, think about an additional stream of revenue.
Yeah.
So you put 2 more games, exhibition games, on the schedule. I think it's another. Again, we're selling popcorn. We're doing all the things to try it because right now, no matter if you're in the SEC or you're in the Southland, the biggest issue all of us have talked about is how do we get sustainable income?
Yeah.
Because the NIL world is what it is. The toothpaste is never going to go back in the tube. And so we're all looking for additional ways to raise revenue because you're going to have to share it with the athletes if you opt in.
No, it seems like an interesting thing in that. Obviously, NIL is the big deal.
Yeah.
The fifth year, though, to me is as big a deal.
It is.
Because a fifth year for everybody takes away so much of the confusion, of the appeal process, and of really, for a coach, like say you're a coach and you were a coach, how do you kind of build a roster not knowing if a kid can come back or not? Do you need another kid? I mean, you're going to affect 3-4 kids on your basketball team.
It's really hard. It's the point that I made in the room was if we do this, okay, we have to get out of the waiver business.
Yeah.
We have to get out, well, unfortunately, hey, this kid blew out his knee 2 or 3 years in a row. I'm sorry, it's life.
Yeah.
And because as a coach, and I said this, in front of everyone, is that as a former coach, if some other kid got the waiver, I was asking, okay, well, how did you get the waiver? How was that written? What do we need to do?
Now it's it's beating the system.
Correct. And I said, instead of that, it said, hey, listen, no matter what, you have 5 to play 5. Like in football, you can play up to 30% of your games and not count. Well, I mean, what are we doing here? So, but, again, it's, when does the clock start? But it's really interesting to listen to it. Again, when you do that, you're going to impact, a lot of high school seniors. Now, when you opt in, you're allowed 2 more scholarships, but there's some leagues that saying, hey, we're going to stay with the scholarship limits that we have right now. So it's fascinating stuff. But I'm a proponent of 5 for 5 if and only if the waivers completely go away.
When we come back, we're going to talk baseball and softball with Justin Hill and James Landreneau after this on Poke Nation.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us. At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
Welcome to Nogales Mexican Cuisine and Bar, where every dish is crafted with fresh ingredients bursting with flavor. Make your date night unforgettable with our authentic Mexican dishes in a cozy and unique setting. Experience our warm and welcoming staff dedicated to ensuring your dining experience is nothing short of exceptional. Unwind at our bar with weekly drink specials perfect for any occasion. Nogales Mexican Cuisine and Bar, where great food, people, and drinks come together.
The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
New to Lake Charles, but not Louisiana, Mockler Beverage has been a leading Anheuser-Busch distributor for over 35 years. Known for an unwavering commitment to quality and service, we're excited to bring our excellence to Southwest Louisiana. Our exceptional portfolio of brands ensures we have the perfect beverage for every taste and occasion. Experience the Mockler difference, where every sip tells a story of excellence and satisfaction. Mockler Beverage, we serve Southwest Louisiana. For more information or to join the team, go to mocklerbeverage.com.
Well, welcome back to Poke Nation. It is a pleasure to have Coach Hill. Welcome back, my friend.
Appreciate you having me.
For sure. So, how was your off season?
Man, it was good with the guys. You know, I don't think I've ever had a fall where it didn't rain one time. We didn't have one weather delay. We're paying for it right now, but we didn't have one weather delay. 45 straight days of just beautiful weather. But the guys were good. Enjoyed being around them. But you know, those 6 weeks we were away from them, we're about to find out what kind of work they did.
So, you know, it's funny. We were joking before it started. Like outdoor sports, right? You start your season and you're freezing,
right?
And you end your season and it's almost unbearably hot,
right? Yep.
Most amazing sport ever because of the season.
It's just crazy how that works, you know. But hey, you know, the thing is, you want to be playing into late June, you know, I mean, because that means you want to be one of the last teams, and it would be hot as well. So, but you know, that's you know, you're thankful to be able to have the facilities you've got and the turf and those kind of things. And,
for sure.
So as soon as the weather's clear, we'll be able to get out there.
So before I turn it over to the huge baseball guy to your right. So tell me, when they leave, when your players leave, do you give them a program? What do you encourage them to do? I mean, because, you know, rest and recovery is important too, but also you want to get them, you know, going a little bit. So what do you talk to them about for those 6 weeks?
Well, the first thing we do is we tell them about what the expectations are for when they return. That's probably the number one thing. So we try to give them a target. We certainly give them a workout plan, but just like any coach, I've seen those things still stuck in their locker when they leave. But we try to check in. I mean, look, the reality of it is they're 18 to 22.
That's
and,
right.
So we give them a target of what we expect on when they come back, and then we try to check in with them a little bit. We know some benchmarks. We know pitchers are supposed to start throwing bullpens again right after Christmas. Yep. So we try to check in with them, but you know, we're only as good as their word. You know,
So you get the Diamond Dinner coming up on the 31st here at the Legacy Center, but then you got the alumni game the 1st.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys coming back you've heard from on the alumni game, first of all? And secondly, Diamond Dinner, how does somebody get involved in that and want to come?
Yeah, so first of all, with the alumni game, Jace Peterson's going to be able to make it this year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, we're excited to be able to have him. You know, it wouldn't surprise me to see Grant Anderson, Brian King, a couple guys are still playing professionally in the big leagues right now. And then plus we have so much, such a great group. If you see any of the pictures, I think when we did the release, you can see a picture. I mean, there's no less than 30 or 40 alum and their family come out. It's such a big deal. Now, I think most of them enjoyed BP before, you know, and so it's a little bit safer environment. But then they'll jump in, grab some at bats, maybe throw an inning, do stuff like that. So we try to make it it's just a great moment just for our alumni, but also our guys to, you know, to kind of understand kind of from a tradition standpoint. So we've had good weather the last few years. Hopefully that'll continue with that. But to go to your second question about the Diamond Dinner, that's a big deal for us. I mean, in a lot of different ways, but for them to get involved, so I did it the other day just because I didn't know what the website was, but if you look up McNeese Diamond Dinner on any of your search engines, it's going to pop up. It's going to take you to our MAF website, and you can get involved right there with table sales. You can actually do some pre-sales from raffle tickets, different things. So we made it really easy. This guy over here has made it really easy for people to give their money. So
he'll go after your money. There's no question about that. He'll go after your money. One thing is I saw your schedule. You got 11 of your first 12 games at home.
Yep.
With the one game being at Texas A&M, who is ranked number 1 right now.
Sure.
So that's a nice little anyway. But it obviously shows that people want to come here. You've built a facility that people can first of all play in, and you're not going to get rained out if all possible. But secondly, what does it mean about coming here and the kind of competition you show them?
Well, it's going to be tough. I mean, because we open up at home, that's going to be Wichita State. I mean, that's the premier college power, and for somebody to come down and to be able to do that, obviously, you know, they're looking at RPI stuff as well. So it says a lot. I mean, this scheduling's getting harder, and it's challenging because other people putting in their facilities, they want to stay closer to home, and but yeah, it's a big deal. It just kind of worked out. I think some of that had to do when so we actually had more road games scheduled, but when the conference added the SFA and UTRGV and everything kind of changed with that, it kind of jacked our schedule up a little bit. I don't think we've had a traditional schedule in about 5 years, so it's just kind of the way it works. But we're adapting with what we've got. No complaints being at home for sure. So, it's an exciting time. So if you don't have plans for Valentine's Day, we got you covered.
Valentine's Day.
We got you covered.
So Coach, talk about, you know, obviously when people drive by Comet Street, they can start to see the new building take its shape, right? Sure. Talk about the new building, what exactly is going to be in it, and how important is it for you?
Yeah, when I was driving here this morning, I was thinking about that, just kind of looking at the current facilities we got. So the good thing about we have, it's not like we're just, hey, this is just going to be a big splash. If you look, I mean, we've got a beautiful facility right now, and what we get to work in every single day, from having an all turf, a padded wall, and I mean, people are playing catch up a little bit right now with us on that. And if you look at where it was the old fire station, that's where our clubhouse, coaches' offices, conference room, different things are going to be. But the thing people we haven't really talked a whole lot about is we're actually going to utilize our current facility as well, and then have a place in between there. But the current facility is going to turn into a player development center. That's great. And so just all the things we're doing, even doing currently, we're going to do it in our building. So that's probably one of the secret I tell recruits when hey, we're not going to do anything new when we get in there. We're already doing it, from video, from analytics, from everything. We're doing it all right now. We're just going to be a little bit more efficient. It's going to be a little bit easier. There'll be more cages, longer cages, throw inside, and so it'll be a big deal with the day that happens. That's great.
Justin Hill's been our guest on the second segment here on Polk Nation. When we come back, James Landreneau will talk softball after this.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
New to Lake Charles, but not Louisiana, Mockler Beverage has been a leading Anheuser-Busch distributor for over 35 years. Known for an unwavering commitment to quality and service, we're excited to bring our excellence to Southwest Louisiana. Our exceptional portfolio of brands ensures we have the perfect beverage for every taste and occasion. Experience the Mockler difference, where every sip tells a story of excellence and satisfaction. Mockler Beverage, we serve Southwest Louisiana. For more information or to join the team, go to mocklerbeverage.com.
Welcome back to Polk Nation. I have a pleasure of bringing in Coach Landreneau. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well, yourself?
I'm doing great. So how was the break? I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Coach Hill first. So how was the break? And when you do, as coaches, you never take a break, right? But when your girls go off for 5 or 6 weeks, what do you send them with, and what are the expectations? Like, talk about, what's been going on in the program.
Yeah, we start with the expectations is, hey, once we get back, we only have about 3 weeks to get ready for our first competition. So understanding what practice is going to look like, and so it's make sure that you're ready for the workload. You don't want your body getting sore and beat up. So it starts for us as making sure the arms are healthy, our arm care program, making sure that we're throwing. Conditioning is up, as well as our strength coach does a great job of giving them some guidance based on what their accessibility is going to be to the weight room. So that's where it kind of starts. This is what it's going to look like. You come back, make sure you're ready. These are some things we help you get ready. And then for us, this year is a lot of individual of based on your fall, what do you need to get yourself ready? So we kind of really explored what each kid probably needed to be able to find himself on the field when it comes January and February.
So you're in a little different spot than baseball because you're starting earlier.
Yeah.
You're already in camp.
Yeah.
And this week you're going to have a couple of snow days.
Yeah.
So how does that change kind of the preparation for a season? Because it's right in the middle of your spring training.
It's one of those things where as a coach that you practice adaptability, adapt and overcome, and that's what it's going to be. It's now it kind of you lay out everything for a month, trying to get ready and realize it's going to be different now. And so for us, it's how can we adapt day to day and see what our team needs and how much we miss. And so that's what it's going to come down to. And for our kids, I kind of like it because, sometimes you get in season, maybe you get a rain out or some rain delays, and you have to kind of change your game plans and routines. So that'll kind of change this week, the innings of prep work that we planned on. And we probably out for Tuesday is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
We hope it's only one day. If it's multiple days, then we're going to have to kind of play it by ear and see.
So now you're bringing in 11 newcomers,
Yeah.
and also you wanted to focus on pitching. That seemed to be what you were going for more than anything else. Did you kind of like what you filled with, and where do you think you are in that?
Yeah, for us, it's going to be a maturity factor. And so we're going to rely on some young arms to come in and compete for us. We have 7 arms right now that we're working with. And what I do like about the 7 is that it's a lot of different avenues we look at. Soft throwers down, got some kids that go up. And so what it comes down to is, no one staff has had significant innings for us. So it's how they're going to mature to handle the pressure that the schedule is going to bring to them. So I'm excited about it. I think we're going to have to be a little creative this year and try to pitch a little bit more like a baseball staff and try to have a middle reliever and somebody come in and close. So it's going to be challenging on our part, but fun group. You talk about that many newcomers. I always want to say this has been a really fun group. I don't know what the results are going to be, but they're fun to be around every day.
So, Coach, let me ask you this. So, obviously, you have a really challenging preseason schedule like you always do. But when you get into league, the conference has gotten so much better. And I've had athletic directors tell me in the meetings that, Coach Landreneau and McNeese kind of raised the bar for softball. Talk about what you see in the league and what's changed in the league and why do you, obviously I think that's a huge part of it, of the benchmark that you've set and the expectations, but talk a little bit about the league and how much challenging it is now than it was even 3-4 years ago.
Absolutely false. The change has been significant. I think you look at the RPI, I think last year we finished, I don't know, 10 or 12, somewhere in that area.
It's amazing.
Which, previous years we used to be in the 20s.
Right.
And I think the athletic directors have done a great job of hiring good coaches. I think the sport has showed some interest with ESPN Plus, and people are getting a little more excited, so attendance is going up, and people are investing across the country in it. The talent level is raising in travel ball and stuff. When you go watch, there's just better players out there. So there's a lot more interest in the sport. And so, it's a lot tougher. You go out there, there's good coaches in this league, and they've done a really good job of recruiting. And I think, with our facilities being where they're at, and people come in and see it, other people investing and trying to stay at that level. So I think it's been great for the sport.
It's been really good.
So last year you won 40 games, which by the way is one less than the White Sox won in 100 extra games. We won't go into that, but
still sore. Huh?
Yeah, still bruised.
Painful to be
it is
Sox
painful.
fan.
But one thing is, you had a lot of young players step up last year.
Yeah.
And what have you seen from them, sort of kind of taking over a leadership role? Because you had some freshmen show up, some sophomores. You had a lot of combination, but a lot of young talent.
Yeah, and we're still going to be young on the field, but those players that played last year, and the Samantha Mundine and Lexi Dibley had significant impact on our team. You kind of just see that leadership, the confidence this year. That they're having to step up and lead other freshmen. Obviously, bringing Reese Reyna and Riley Bouvier back as seniors that had significant playing time over the years has helped tremendously. But they have really stepped up, and we're going to have to lean on quite a few young players. We only have 2 seniors on this team.
Yeah, so that makes it kind of an interesting team. But last year you had more seniors. Yeah. You were kind of a young team, but an old team. It was kind of like there wasn't much middle. Now that you have a little bit of a middle now. Yeah. For building a team and continuing on, how does that look?
Yeah, you're going to have players like Riley Eister, that she's a junior, that spot played last year, that's going to step in, but the maturity factor's there, along with Jada Munoz, that had some innings for us last year, but you kind of see a different side of them this year, that leadership style. They've been in the system a while, and they've done a great job explaining to the freshmen about the process. Quit worrying about the results every day, get caught up in the process, and make sure you just get better today, and the lineup's going to happen however it should down the road.
James Landreneau has been our guest on segment 3 on Polk Nation. When we come back, we'll get Coach's final thoughts after this.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us. At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
Hard to believe baseball, softball season is already here.
It's
especially
crazy,
with the
right?
weather so nice. Beautiful.
Really though, I joked with Coach Hill before the segment, and you start the season and you're freezing, and then you end the season and it's almost miserably hot. It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it's here, and it's great. And those two guys, honestly, have been so consistent, and they run such quality programs that we're really, really fortunate to have them both here.
Yeah. Okay, so SFA was in town Monday. The last time SFA played in this building, who was the head coach?
I think I was.
Did you win that game?
I did not win that game. Oh. No. Had a spirited comeback, if I remember, but fell short.
Spirited comeback.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about some things here that the basketball team's going to take a plane to Corpus Christi.
Yes.
Are you on that plane?
I am not.
So that's a pretty good gig for them.
Well, again, I think that you have to figure out, because of that trip, what you really wanted to do, and because of not only the turnaround, but you're playing Corpus Christi at Corpus. That. So it's a big road trip for us, especially with competing for a conference championship, and Corpus Christi is
right there.
Is right there.
They look to be the team that's next in line that's going to compete with you. I want to ask you about the press box going up. Looks like there's a lot of work going on in it. I see the lights are above it now.
Yeah, I mean it's coming along. It should be ready by 1st of April to start doing tours and those kind of things. That's what I'm hoping for. 100% be ready for next year. It's going to be first class. I can't wait to take you up there.
It wasn't really first class when I was there.
No, I know. But I will tell you this: we're going to have open houses. And probably have 1 or 2 open houses for the public to come in and look to, obviously sell all 23 suites. There is a waiting list, so there are people on the list. Obviously, we have suites available, but it's going to be it'll be without question the best press box in FCS football.
Are you going to have a naming? Are you going to name the press box?
I'm working on that.
Sponsorship for the press box and the stadium. And
I'm working on all that. Correct. Yes.
Can we do one thing?
Okay, what do you need?
Media parking to actually be like slots.
How about we just do Jim Gazzola?
No, just slots.
No.
Each publication gets a slot.
That's
all I asked for.
We're going to get your a sign out there that's 24 hours a day, Jim Gazzola parking spot. Right by the head football coach. Maybe, because with rank of importance, we go football coach and then
Jim. I think it should be noted that I've been here longer than most football coaches.
So that right now, that would warrant a parking spot.
Maybe I should have the spot next to the guy. Yeah. Because I'm here longer. Okay. But the baseball, you talked a little bit about the baseball facility and that. What other things you guys got kind of building on here? Because there's a lot of building going on here on campus that's not just sports.
Oh, for sure. The new student union is going to be phenomenal, and it will absolutely change campus, and I cannot wait for that to be done. The LNG Center is also getting built, right behind the like Canes, right there.
Yeah.
If you go by, Ryan Street, you can see that. There's so much growth going on right now. It's really humbling to be a part of it. It all starts and ends with Dr. Wade Roos, our president. He is the driving force of all of it, and I'm just really blessed to be on his team.
And you didn't get to go to the inauguration this year.
I did not. I'm really going to watch a little bit on TV, and here we go.
And go to basketball. All right. Basketball. Sell your Gatsby. You got 20 seconds.
Well, honestly, it sells itself. And I'll tell you this. Right now, as of today, we have, I want to say, 12 tables left out of 95. So you can do the math. We will be sold out. We should be sold out by the end of the month. If you haven't got a table, make sure you get it. It is going to be the party of the year. And if you've been in it before, I promise you it's going to be even better.
Look at you hit the mark. I'm a true professional.
I'm getting used to it, brother.
We'll see you next week on Poke Nation.